Now, we all know that the Swahili Village group of restaurants has seen remarkable growth since the first opening its doors back in 2009 in Beltsville, Maryland. They have since added locations in downtown DC and Newark, New Jersey, and the grapevine has it that they might be opening a few more locations in locations that are yet to be announced. Now, Kenya's President William Ruto also made a stop at the Newark location last month as he was attending the annual United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York. It's also not unusual to see Black American celebrities dining at Swahili Village. Most recently, there was a sighting of celebrity stand-up comedian Dave Chappelle. Now, despite Swahili Village's rapid growth and popularity, the restaurant has experienced several major challenges on its way up. Now, back in May 2018, there was a fire incident that led to the closure of the Beltsville location for a couple of months. And shortly after the official opening of the DC location by President Uhuru Kenyatta, that was back in February of 2020, the restaurant was forced to shut down the following month due to an outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, more recently, Swahili Village was slapped with a lawsuit by DC Attorney General Brian Schwab alleging systemic wage theft. Now, in the 28-page indictment, it contends that from the opening of the DC location back in February 2020 through 2022, the restaurant paid hundreds of workers below minimum wage, stole their tips, and failed to pay overtime wages amongst other violations to DC labor laws. Now, in studio tonight to talk about Swahili Village and address these allegations is the president and CEO of the Swahili Village group of restaurants, Mr. Kevin Onyona. Now, Kevin is a self-taught chef and is also the founder of the Swahili Village group of restaurants. Now, Kevin is actually no stranger to Kilimanjaro Studios. We hosted him back in March of 2019, where he spoke about the new locations opening in New Jersey and DC that are now up and running. Now, he also controversially explained why it is unwise to label a cuisine African and why he chose to keep his brand as a true taste of Kenya. Kevin, welcome back to the One Mic Show.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Ali, and One Mic, of course, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we are so glad to have you here. Now, how are you doing today? Let's start from there. Basics.
I'm good. I
Okay.
am a very happy soul.
Okay.
I've taught myself to keep that as my preamble.
Okay.
Happiness you owe to yourself. Nobody's going to give it to you.
Okay, good. And how have you been since you were last here? Because there were, some health challenges that you had been going through. How have you been health-wise since that time? It was March 2019, so more than 4 years. How did you navigate that, and how are you feeling now?
I'm good. My health challenge actually was before the fire, which was the cancer.
Mm-hmm.
The cancer came. It was, a very unexpected time because I was a healthy man walking, running 6 miles sometimes, at a day, and then the doctor calls you and tells you have to stop what you're doing right now.
Oh, wow.
And rearrange your life because you're going to need to go through a very rigorous treatment because they found this cancer at stage 3.
Ooh la la.
And so, it was just like Jesus sent because my wife would tell me, Kevin, when you're sleeping at night, your breathing is not normal.
Okay.
And I told her, oh, you know what, I'm going to see an ENT doctor, not
Okay.
I'm going to see my doctor.
Okay.
So when I go to see my doctor, who would have probably given me just, medication to just tamp it down, like,
Flonase or something
Flonase
like that.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
Then my doctor told me, my ENT told me, if you had done this another 8 months, you would have gotten to stage 4.
Oh my goodness.
So it was very intentional. He said, this is really godsend. We found this cancer for the first time at stage 3. And John Hopkins went to work and, we had a team of very good doctors there then. John Hopkins is probably the best in the world for head and neck cancer. And but you know what they told me? That they, with all our education, we can only give you 30% of all
30%
our
chance.
education. The 30% in treating this cancer.
Okay.
70% has to come from you.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
that's good
that's
to know.
actually what happens with any cancer. Period. The cancer is, you beat the cancer with your mind,
With your
and
willpower.
Willpower.
Okay, we're
It's
glad to
this,
see you, and we're glad that that was taken care of.
Yes.
And we're glad to see you. I mean, it's been actually more than 4 years since you were in Kilimanjaro Studios, and as you can see, there's been a few changes since you were last here, and we really appreciate that. And then we also know that at that particular time when you came here, your Beltsville location had been shut down for months, and you were just reopening, and that was back in 2019. It had been shut down because of a fire that had happened. Now, how exactly did that go? Because it's usually, sometimes when such things happen, certain restaurants never reopen again. So how did you go through that experience, and how are you able to get Swahili Village back on its feet, Kevin?
Yeah, the fire was very devastating, by the way, and we thank God so much, because you all remember that night of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a big night for.
Yeah, it was huge. I
Kenyans
think that was the
Swahili
biggest
Village.
night for the
Yeah.
restaurant since you had opened, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was a Sunday. I think it was Soul Night and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fire happened at 4:45 in the morning.
Wow.
The last person left the restaurant at 3.
Oh wow.
So you can imagine how God works here.
Yeah.
Because if that fire had happened, that was the kind of fire that was completely deadly to any soul, any human that would have been there. It was an explosive fire, because it went through an open valve that was leaking, and it just so happened it ignited at the time when that valve was getting very weak, and gas just blew up.
Okay.
It
And
was
Omoshi
like
were
a
actually
bombshell.
there. I think
Wow.
Omoshi were there
Yeah,
that night.
yeah,
when,
yeah. That night,
when that fire happened.
yeah, I was there. We were there. In fact, that was. I had never seen Swahili Village like that. Probably the last time I saw Swahili Village with that much, electricity in terms of people
Yeah.
and the audience and people appreciating was the old Swahili Village when the floor used to dance.
Okay,
Remember when
yeah.
the floor used to dance at the old one?
Yeah.
So it was the same thing. Top Down was playing that night.
Okay.
It was Soul Night. It was a Sunday, and I think the next day was a holiday. I don't remember what holiday it was, but I know there was a holiday the next Monday.
Okay.
It was really electric. It was nice. It was a good vibe. We had fun.
All right. That's good.
Yeah.
And I want to welcome your Chicks. Your Chicks is saying, watching from Newark, New Jersey. I bet your Chicks has also been at the Swahili Village in Newark, New Jersey. And then I want to welcome all the other listeners who are tuned in. I can see DJ Sani Sistuki. I can see Tabitha Njeri. I can see Kesh, Timo Dhiambo, Winnie, Auntie Maureen, Sadia, karibuni nyote nata na Steve Olago. It's going to be a very exciting show. We already have a comment here coming from Kenya Mashinani, who's asking, who are these Kenyans who put a lawsuit for immigrants ain't easy to start up a home kitchen? So we're going to get to that a bit later, and Rasvik pia tunakaribisha sana. And also I can see Junoburu is tuned in.